All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to be talking about how World War One got started. Okay. Now, I have been telling you guys for the past month or so everything we've been learning about the Crimean War up until the Russo-Japanese War. All that stuff was building to a certain event, and that's where we're at right now. This is what today is about. Okay, how did World War One start? Okay. Now, the objective today, we're going to analyze the significance of people wanting Archduke Ferdinand dead. We're going to examine the events leading to Archduke Ferdinand's assassination, and we're going to create an argument on whether World War One was inevitable. Now, I know some of you guys don't know what the word inevitable means. It basically means that it's going to happen. You throw a ball in the air, baseball, football, whatever, it's going to come down. Okay, even if it hits a bird, it's coming down. Okay, that's inevitable. Now, your warm-up question, the first one asks you, what do you notice about these three propaganda posters? What do they have in common? Okay, so you got the one on the far left says, gee, I wish I were a man. I'd join the Navy. And the bottom part says, be a man and do it. United States Navy recruiting station. The middle one basically just says straight up right there, your country needs you. And let me move my little video thing right there, put it right there. And of course, the most iconic propaganda poster in U.S. history, besides like Rosie Rivet, is the Uncle Sam, I want you for U.S. Army. Okay. So again, what's something all three of these posters have in common? Okay. The other second question asks you, which one do you think was more effective? The left one, the middle one, or the one to the right? You put the girl, the middle, or Uncle Sam. Okay, and explain to me why. Why do you feel that one was more effective in getting people to do whatever they're asking for? Okay, so think about it. Pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so in 1908, Austria-Hungary takes over Bosnia. Okay, remember, Austria-Hungary, they were two countries, now they're one, and now they're pretty big and bad, right? So, Bosnian people are very upset, and the thing is, there's a nationalist movement going on in that country. So, a nationalist movement would basically be like, hey, we need to unite, type of thing. And these guys wanted to unify all southern Slavic countries. Now, there was 4 of them: Bosnia, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Macedonia. Okay, so if you look at that map, where you see that BH, there it is. That's the Bulgaria, Bosnia one. Okay, the one with the M, Macedonia, Serbia's right there. There's Bulgaria to the side. Yeah, that kind of yellowish color is right there. Okay, so you see that little area. That's what they wanted to unite and become one country, just like Austria-Hungary did, just like Germany did with the German Federation with the Prussian government. They wanted to do that same thing. Thing is, in 1914, the Slavic nationalists decided, you know what? Instead of killing the king of Austria-Hungary, we should kill the next person in line, which would be Archduke Ferdinand. Okay, because again, he is the next in line. Okay, now Ferdinand, believe it or not, wasn't liked by his uncle, the king. He didn't really like him. He didn't think much of him, and that's something that both the king of Austria-Hungary and the Bosnian Serbian nationalists had in common. They didn't like Archduke Ferdinand. And the guy hasn't even done anything. Okay? Now, Archduke Ferdinand, which is that guy right there in the picture, you see with that killer mustache? I love that mustache. That's so awesome. His only true supporter, the only government official head person who actually liked him and got along with him very well was the Kaiser of Germany, Emperor Wilhelm II. Him and Ferdinand got along pretty well. Now, here's the thing about Ferdinand. Granted, he was not king yet. He was next in line. But he was like, you know what? I understand why those people in Serbia are upset. I understand why they're so angry, and upset at my uncle. I get it. Serbians wanted to expand. They're a small country, and they got taken over. Now, hey, they can't expand really. They're actually taken over so that Austria-Hungary can basically expand. Bosnia wanted independence. They want to be taking care of their own, have their own government and things like that. So he's like, I understand. That's what you guys want. I understand that's what you really, really care for, and that's what you want. So he already expressed some idea of like, maybe if I'm the leader, I can talk to them. I can negotiate with them. I can do this and that. But again, he's not the king of Austria-Hungary yet. The problem was the leader of the Austrian-Hungary, Ferdinand's uncle. He knew if Serbia was allowed to expand, let's say Austria-Hungary said, okay, fine, you want to expand? Expand. He knew other countries would want to be like, well, how come we can't expand? We want to expand. So I gave the example in class. If I gave one student a hot pizza and some cold soda, just because, other students in class would be like, well, where's mine? How come they get it? What'd they do? They didn't do anything special. Why are you giving it to them? And you guys, the students, would want your own too. Okay? So that's what happened. Now, the group that said, hey, we're going to kill Archduke Ferdinand, they took up a name, and that was the Black Hand. So here's your first question. What are some reasons why a small country would want to expand? Why would a small country want to get more land? Okay, and why would any country want their own independence? Why would they want to be separated from another country ruling them? Okay, why would they want to go through the hassle of making their own laws and things like that, creating their own government, and, it's a lot of stuff. So, but why would they want their own independence? Okay, so think of a reason for each one, write it down, explain it, all right? Pause the video, write your response, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, June 28th, 1914 is a day that is like, it changed the world. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It changed the world. Ferdinand is in the city of Sarajevo, okay? He's there with his wife, Sophie, which you see in that picture right there, okay? Now, people are lined up for this parade, welcoming him in to Sarajevo, and this is where the Black Hand assassins are like, okay, you know what? We know he's going to go down this road, and this road. Let's set up people right here in this area, and let's try to get him. So they were in the streets with knives, bombs, and pistols, so they're just waiting for the right opportunity. Here's the problem. Some Black Hand assassin jumped the gun and threw his grenade or bomb, whatever you want to call it, threw it right into the street, right at Archduke Ferdinand's car. The driver, being alert, just noticed the bomb coming from the crowd. It's like, oh, dang it. and he guns it, and they take off. The bomb explodes behind them, okay? And yes, people are hurt, okay? Now, you have to remember, guys, in a grenade or type of bomb, you don't die necessarily from the explosion itself. If you're close enough, yeah, you will. But if you're on the outside, there's other ways you can get hurt, and that's mainly from the shrapnel, the pieces of metal, some of that is the casing of the bomb, of the grenades, and when it explodes, it's sending pieces of metal flying at high speeds with great velocity. So if a chunk of metal comes through and hits you right here in the jugular, you're going to bleed out. You're going to die. If it hits you in the lower artery in your leg, yeah, you could bleed out and die. So, or if you took a bunch to the chest, a bunch of little sharp metal pieces are dug into your chest, yeah, you may live, you may die. It just depends how deep it went in and if it did any permanent damage. Okay, but still, Archduke Ferdinand, they gun it. They go to their scheduled meeting with the officials at Sarajevo. They have their little meeting. He comes out. This is the last picture of him and his wife. Now, the thing is, the officials tell Ferdinand, hey, let us take you on a tour. We want to take you on a tour of the city, things like that. Ferdinand said, no. We're good, me and my wife. We actually want to go see the people in that hospital, make sure they're okay, things like that. It's not their fault that, that they got wounded. It's, really those assassins and our fault, that we were here, and they got hurt because of us, so we just want to see if they're okay. The driver is like, oh, dang it, I don't know how to get to this hospital. So basically they tell him, oh yeah, go down this road, you'll be there. Okay, so he goes, he's driving. He makes a wrong turn at the wrong road. This is again where I said world history is changed right here. Because when he made that wrong turn in this cafe area, there's this 19-year-old Black Hand assassin named, I'm going to kill this name, Gavrilo Princip. Okay, he's having a drink oh man, we had our chance, dang it, we could have got him. And he looks up, and sure enough, there's Archduke Ferdinand in the car. So he's like, oh man, this is it. So he gets out of there, takes out his gun, and starts shooting. Okay. Sophia, the wife, gets hit first, and she dies immediately. Ferdinand takes several shots to the chest area. He doesn't die right away, but he does end up dying. And this is the turning event. Now, remember I told you, Archduke Ferdinand's uncle didn't like him, but that doesn't mean he's not going to try to take advantage of this situation. And that's exactly what he does. He's like, oh, my poor nephew never did nothing to anyone. Oh, those Serbians, they killed him. They did this. Oh, my poor nephew. And then he looks to Germany and tells Germany, hey, Kaiser, you were friends with my nephew. You know he didn't deserve this. Join us in fighting these Serbians. So Germany's like, yeah, you know what? He was my boy. Yeah, he was my friend. Yeah, they killed him cold blood. They killed his wife. Yeah, so we're going to join you, and we're going to go against Serbia. Serbia then looks towards Russia, their ally, for help. And they're telling Russia, hey, remember during the Crimean War when you wanted to go through Austria's land to fight the Ottomans? And they said no. Remember that? Yeah. So here's the thing. This is your time to get revenge on them. So Russia's like, yeah, you know what? They did. They turned their back on us. We were cool with them at one point, but now, not anymore. So Russia agrees to help Serbia. Germany then tells Russia, oh, you guys want to join on this? Fine, we declare war on you. Now Russia then asks their ally France. They have a loose friendship, but still it's a friendship. But mainly they make that thin friendship stronger when France points out to them, hey, remember when Prussia, before they became the German Empire, remember when they were Prussia and they did that stuff to you guys? They captured your Emperor Napoleon III. They made you pay like $15 billion to them. And you guys said you wanted revenge. This is your moment. This is your moment to get revenge on them. Join us. France goes, you know what? That's right, huh? Yeah. We've been planning to get revenge on Prussia, which is now the German Empire. Yeah, you're right. So you know what? Yeah, we will join you. We will support you. So then Germany's like, oh, France, you want to join on this? Let's do this. So they declare war on France. Britain then looks at Germany and goes, hey, don't be picking on our friends, France. Don't be saying all this stuff. You know what? If you declare war on them, we're declaring war on you. Okay, and so they declare war on Germany. Austria-Hungary, seeing all this going on, they're like, hey, you don't mess with our boy Germany. So they declare war on Russia, and then France and Britain declares war on Austria-Hungary, and Austria-Hungary declares war on Britain and France. Okay, so if you've ever seen at school, like one person want to fight another person, and this person's friends come in, and these guys' friends come in, this is basically what happens in World War One. They're calling on their friends, calling in favors, telling people, hey, remember that bad blood you have with these guys? Now's the time to join our side so you can get that revenge, and things like that. This is the first time in history so many different countries are fighting so many other different countries, and it's splitting up an entire continent. Okay, so if you look at that map, the countries in green, they are partnered up. The countries in orange, those countries are partnered up. The countries in the kind of pinkish, purplish kind of color, those countries are neutral. They're not taking a side, And so as you can see, yeah, Europe is basically split in two. The Allied and the Central Powers. That's why World War I was known then as the war to end all wars. They figured one side's going to win, and when they win, hey, they made friends with all these other countries, so there will be peace. They've also called it the Great War. Hey, this has never happened in the history of the world. This is honestly going to be the biggest, greatest war ever done. And later on, it would also be called the World War. Not World War I, because again, they don't know about World War II yet. That's not until another 20 years. So it became known as the World War. Because again, the fighting wasn't just in Europe, it was also in Africa and other countries. So here's my next question. Do you think that if Archduke Ferdinand wasn't assassinated, do you think he would, if he became king, that he would at least negotiate with the Serbians and allowing them to expand and allowing Bosnia to get their independence? Or do you think he would have been if he got power, if his uncle died and he became the king, do you think he'd be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to talk to you guys. I understand now as king why we're not doing this for you. I get it now, Or do you think he would have kept his word and been like, hey, let's talk about this and let's negotiate. Let's see if we can find a middle ground. So what do you think? Do you think he would have kept his word, or do you think he would have changed once he had power if he never got assassinated? What do you think? So think about it. Write your response because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So do not write on the second one. There was just at the Zimmerman telegram. Do not write that one. That one's an error. That's on my mistake. Okay. So just answer that top one. Now knowing what happened after Ferdinand's death and how people viewed him, how all these countries felt about one another, do you think World War I was inevitable? Do you think it was going to happen? Especially with these countries who really don't like each other that we've been talking about for the past month. Here's this point. You know, do you think it was inevitable? Do you think World War I was going to happen one way or another? Write your response on that. Okay. So once you finish answering that question, you are done with this lesson. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay. So you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. All right.